Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy you are here. We are in Chicago and we are getting ready to go out to a birthday party, and I figured why not? Why not have you join me? Why not get ready together? So that's what we're doing right now. I really like this hotel that I'm in. By the time I post this, I would have left. So I'm staying at the Gwen. And I'm a huge fan. Any hotel that has like the vanity lighting, like in the bathroom is like, yeah, that's where I need to be. It's a content creator's dream, so it goes without saying that I love it here. But I'm excited to just chat through all things, you know. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just, let's get ready together. I'm applying the Augustinus Bader eye patches. I actually really like Augustinus Bader, except for the prices, but the only Augustinus Bader products that I use have been sent in PR, so yay blessings. But I don't know, I feel like if I really had it like that, like if I was like a celebrity, like I probably would be buying this stuff. Because I actually really do like it. So there's that at least. So the general question is, what have I been up to? Life has been busy, in a good way, but potentially, very potentially has the potential to be busy in an overwhelming way. And I am learning the art of making sure I don't go over into that second category, because honestly, that's something that I fully just like have control over. And when I say I have control over it, I mean like I can say no to some things. Like I cannot do stuff. And on top of that, I have to make sure that I don't do stuff so that I can do the things that are like fun and not work, right? Like these events, so a lot of events that I do and a lot of opportunities that have come my way are like fun, but they're still work in the sense that like I have to be on and I have to interact with people. But I want to be able to like have fun, like have fun. We did it. Thank God that my eyebrows grew back after what I put them through when I was in college, because every picture from circa 2017 to maybe 2020, not even 2017, from 2013 to maybe 2020 is my brows being ridiculously thin. So shout out to brows that grow back. I love this, by the way. This Denessa, this is my second bottle, this Yummy Skin Glow Serum. Excellent under makeup. I actually use it as like a first primer. So like after I've already put on moisturizer and done my skincare routine and it's dried down, after I do my brows, I'm like, okay, let me go in with my like first moisturizer. But yeah, so last weekend I was in Houston, and that's the reason why I didn't really have I fully didn't have a YouTube video that week, and I tried to like force it, and I was like, all right, there's gotta be a balance between wanting to be consistent and wanting to put out quality. And like, yes, everyone says the goal, and my goal right now is to make it to 10 straight weeks. So like I'm basically starting over at 0 with this one since I missed last week. But 10 straight weeks before I like reward myself with something. But like if I had posted last week, it wouldn't have been quality. I wanted to do similar to what I'm doing now. Like I was like, the plan is just gonna film like, oh, when I'm in Houston, I'll film and get ready with me. And the reason for that is, what's it called? Fridays are usually my film days, but because I had gone to Houston last Friday, I was like, oh shoot, like, you know, and I didn't really have anything that was vlog worthy, so I didn't like vlog during the week. Fridays are usually my film days, and Mondays are my editing days. And it doesn't have to be that Friday is my film day, it's just like by Friday I should have something that is filmed. and know exactly what my plan is, because by Monday I need to be editing, and then Tuesday I can finalize and schedule so that the video can go up on Wednesday. That's like pretty much the schedule that I've taken on at this point. But last week I was in Houston and things were kind of moving really fast. And I was also just like, maybe you need to take a break. Maybe you need just a little itty bitty break. But Houston was a vibe. I went for like basically a group-ish trip with some people that I had met while I was in Ghana. Speaking of which, one of them actually is texting me right now. But that is like the beauty of solo travel, I must say. Like, I have like met people. Like, I have met people and stayed connected to people. And like, I just love that. Like, it's like, yo, like, there's so many people in the world, so many people who can potentially be like people that are like in your life for real, that like, if you're waiting to go out with your friends, or if you're waiting for something to happen, like, you could miss out on that. And oftentimes when you go out with your friends, you're less likely to interact with new people, to be very honest. Like, I find it very hard to connect to people who are in groups, because they're committed to being in a group. And so that's just a little side note encouragement for solo travel, because I just took a trip to Houston, and saw some people that I met literally like in Ghana. When I was on a group like travel, I was in a travel group, but like I was still able to like kind of branch out and do my own thing and interact with people. This color corrector is so good. I'm a little nervous about this foundation. Not nervous, but like, I really like this foundation when like I really want to look like glam. It stays in place all day and night. However, it's not like my best shade match. Like, the thing is, like, it looks like a good shade match, like when I step out of lighting. It's not actually the worst. It's actually not the worst. It just pulls, this is supposed to be neutral, and it pulls just a little bit more red than I would like, but I actually don't think it's that bad today. But I have been using the Dior Skin Glow foundation in the shade 7N, and it has been like, everyone agrees, like, that is like the perfect shade for me. And I love that because I know that I pull like true neutral, and there are not that many true neutral foundations like on dark skin. So shout out to Dior for actually creating something that works for your girl. I actually think this blends beautifully with my neck, not gonna lie. Like, it actually is good. It's good. It's good. It's good. So yeah, I went to Houston and that was fun, but it was also an experience, because I know I just spoke about like, oh, solo travel, like do whatever, but like there's a difference between like solo travel and like solo travel that's like contained. Because like with Ghana, I will say, like, there are so many people that it almost feels like it's a like convention in a way. But for this trip, it was like, there was nothing. It wasn't like a citywide, like, oh, let's go to Houston for X, Y, and Z. Like, it was Juneteenth weekend, of course, but it wasn't like how Ghana is in December, where it's like everybody and their mom is there. So I'm an extrovert, but I don't like new situations. And I hate the feeling of being new. Like, that's just like it. And so like, I was kind of in a new setting, meeting like new people, and that just like made me a little bit uncomfortable or nervous, and it made it like a little bit difficult for me to like step out of my shell. So yeah, it was like a bit of an adjustment, but I'm also like, I could hold my own from time to time. I'm trying to decide how much I want to go, like how spicy, not spicy, but like, how do I describe this? Once upon a time, I think I had posted, I posted something on TikTok that was like failed talking stage, whatever, it went viral. And one of the comments that I got on that video, most of the time my viral videos, like have to do with either law school or dating, and B, like oftentimes are like vulnerable, maybe in a way that I did not consider when I had made it. But like when people comment, they're like, oh wow, like this was really vulnerable. And I'm just like, oh, I hadn't realized that it was considered vulnerable. But like, all right, like cool. So at any rate, one of the comments that I got on that failed talking stage video is like, wow, like I'm surprised you share this. You like rarely talk about like these type of things, which is very true. Like I am very, very, very private about my dating life for a number of reasons, right? Like, so number one, I don't think I have fully let go of the idea of like when things don't work out in dating, like not being embarrassed. And that's interesting. Like and let me tell you something, like I do not plan to really share like who my significant other is, except I say this often, like I hope I meet someone and I hope like, you know, the person that I end up with is someone that makes me not care and makes me feel safe enough to be like, no, like, I don't, that would make me want to show off and like make me want to share that. I say that because I also realized I forgot one of my brushes, which is devastating, but it actually works out just fine because I have a different blush brush. But I say that because I've been in a relationship before, and I've actually only been in one relationship before. And that relationship, you know, like when you have a relationship, it's like, yeah, I think this is it. Like, yeah, like that was the one that I thought was gonna be it, which was very naive of me. But like, again, I was really inexperienced. And it's funny because like I have conversations with people after and they're like, why on earth would you like be a one and done? Like that doesn't really seem consistent with me and who I am and what I need also on top. What is going on? Oh, I might have used too much blush. We're gonna make this work. I also don't know if there's a thing that's too much blush, so let's just see. And if I need to go back and add concealer, I will, and I can. But like, dang, Annie. Yeah, I think I need to go back to the contour brush and just bring back that contour. Yeah, I think that's fine. But at any rate, that kind of, I feel like I was the type of person that sort of like, oh, I'm never gonna go public, and then I like went public with that. And like, I wasn't even that much of like a public figure back then. I'm not much of a public figure now, but like, what I mean is I wasn't really like large, so like it didn't really matter. But I don't know, for some reason, I just felt like once that relationship ended, everybody was like ridiculing, and that was like far from the truth, but like these are the things that you kind of like have in your head when you do the things that you like swore that you wouldn't do. And also like when people like know you and know like who you were dating and know that like relationship or whatever, because like you announce when you're together, but you don't really announce like when you're separating or apart, unless like you were married. I think some people like announce it, but like a lot of people don't do that. So that had me on my like, yeah, we're not doing this again. Like I'm never about to be public with a relationship or whatever, but I also just generally don't talk about my relationships. I generally don't talk about dating life, but it's kind of hard to be a content creator who is sharing your life without like sharing your life. And so, yeah, I guess that's like kind of where I am, but I feel like I'm just at a place, and also I feel like nobody's really watching me on YouTube. And maybe that'll change after this video if the people start talking, but I feel like this is chill because no one's really, like, not to be dramatic, but it's not really popping off on YouTube for me at this moment in time. So I'm like, oh shoot, like I can talk about whatever I want to talk about. And if the girlies catch on, they catch on. And that's another thing that kind of like frustrates me, like dating content, like the people will be all up in your busyness. They will be all up in your busyness. And they won't necessarily be all up in your busyness for like many other things, like, yeah. But it is what it is. I don't know why dating has that kind of like stronghold on us. No! Not in the sink. Oh, the sink is dry, okay. We're going for a full glam today, as you can see, full glam. And I think it's time for me to pop on a little bit of bronzer and then move on to the eyes. One of the people on the trip who I met from Ghana had asked me, you know, like, how are the men in New York treating you or whatever? Oh, that's another thing I need to talk about. And I'll get back to what I was saying, but like, I don't really, and it's a lot of, I feel like a lot of times like I get the question or more and more like, do you always see yourself staying in New York? And like the answer right now is like, yes, just because like, I don't really have a reason to move. Like, I think people are really mobile when the city that they are in, when their home city like doesn't have everything that they need or are looking for. And like New York is my home, so like, but it also like has everything that I want, but like it has everything that I want because it's my home. And like, I think it's just different when you come from New York. Obviously cost of living is ridiculous, but like, I'm not at a place where it's like, oh, let me just get up and move by myself. Like I always say, like, if there's something or someone that gives me a reason to move, like, then I will consider it. But I also think I could potentially end up at a place where I live in two cities for the sake of like having a home in one city, like a house, and like still getting to experience New York without feeling like I've just left it. Like New York, I'm not gonna say stronghold, but I'm gonna say like New York is really like who I am. Like, and that sounds like really dramatic, but like it really is true. Like I'm really love New York. And it's like, I don't see a reason in leaving if it's not going to be for someone. So like, to be very clear, like for a relationship, and by relationship, I mean for a marriage, like there has to be a ring involved. Like I'm not about to move for a like, what if, because I also like worry and don't know that I would really love a city more than I love New York. And so like, I'm not just gonna move for like a potential, you know, potentially something. And I say like, I like DC, like, right? Like, and I think I could like Chicago. Like I'm in Chicago right now. I'm like, I think I could like it, but like, that's like the same, like is giving bootleg New York. No offense at all. But like, it's like, what I mean by that is like, cost of living is not that like much better for me to be like, yeah, I'm gonna leave. Like New York is too expensive, I'm gonna go to DC, because the type of home that I would want is gonna be expensive. That's the thing. Like, so it would have to be like, I'm going to a place like Texas. Like it would have to be, I'm going to Atlanta or something, like for it to really make a difference. And I don't see myself doing that without like somebody being like, hey, let's start a life here, or without a job being like, hey, you have to move here. But considering the fact that I'm now a full-time influencer, and that's another thing, being a full-time influencer, you heavily benefit from being in New York and LA, but I say very much so New York. And so like on top of that, like my job is like in New York, right? Like my job is best in New York. But that's besides the point. The point was the reason that I brought this up is because I'm like, yo, like at the very least though, what I can say and what I can appreciate is that like men, I know they're like, oh, chivalry is dead. Like I think it's just chivalry in New York doesn't exist. I think in other cities, like the men will take care of you, even if, I don't want to say even if they don't want anything from you, but like, I didn't do anything for anybody, and I didn't touch my wallet once last weekend. Like maybe like the Ubers that I took to and from the airport, And even then, I feel like if I really wanted to, I could have been like, hey, can you drop me off at the airport? Can you pick me up? But I didn't do that because I came in, or I left at like really, really early in the morning. But like those sorts of things where I'm like, oh, see, in New York, like when the men go to party, they're trying to be with the bros. Like they're not even looking our way. Like New York, like someone getting me a drink, like, maybe, maybe not, but like Houston and Texas, it was like, I'm not buying, like I could leave my wallet at home. I would leave my wallet at home, honestly. And that was the same way I felt in Ghana, and maybe it's because like people, when they don't come from New York, but like, I don't know, dudes in New York come to the functions to be bros. And I'm just like, okay, like, I don't know, like, it costs to look this good. Right? Like it costs money to look this good, and you like to see people that look good, I guess. Like, I don't know why you came here to be with the bros, but that works too. But that conversation I had with someone, and also the men in Houston were fine. Like it's been a long time since I've seen like that many like consistently fine men, like consistently like, you look good and you look good and you like her and you like her too, like you like him and you like him too, and he looks good and he looks good. And that was just like all in Houston. But that doesn't mean they're serious. That does not mean they're serious. It just means they look good. And I feel like for me, if I'm being honest, my like biggest dilemma, or where I often like struggle, is finding like people, men that I am genuinely attracted to. Because I just can't get over the attraction hurt. Like I really, really like I want to be very attracted to the man that I end up with. And it doesn't necessarily mean he has to be attractive to everybody. But he has to be attractive to me. But the issue is, I tend to like people, I tend to find people attractive. The people I tend to find attractive tend to be people that like a good amount of other people find attractive. And sometimes it's like extreme. Like sometimes it's like way too many people find this person attractive. Like I'm not about to be in here like compete. Like sometimes it'll get to a point where like so many people find that person attractive that like it'll start to feel like a competition. And when it starts to feel like a competition, I kind of like revert to, dang, we're about to get deep. Kind of like revert to my like elementary, middle, and even like low-key high school self that just like didn't really, I don't want to say I didn't think I was pretty, but no, honestly, like, yeah, I don't think I thought I was pretty when I was younger. I definitely don't think I would, if you asked me to describe, there we go. If you asked me to describe myself, oh, I need to get my tweezers. If you asked me to describe myself from say ages 10 to age 19, like if you were, you know, did one of those things like use 3 words to describe yourself. No. Pretty or beautiful or whatever is not one of the words that I would use. And for that reason, and I feel like those like 10 to like 19 is like that age where you like care about what boys think of you, like you have crushes and you're, you know, wanting to be desired. Like, it's not like I don't have a desire to be desired now, but like, I actually don't actively have a desire to be desired. Cause it's like, that's like kind of like pick me-ish. Like I don't, like, yes, I obviously want the person that I want to want me. Like I want to be wanted by somebody, but it's kind of different when you're younger because you're like using it as sort of like validation or like, you know, whatever, versus now I'm just like, well, duh, I want you to be attracted to me because like I'm attracted to you. Like I would hope the person that I'm with is attracted to me. And back then it was like the people who are attracted to you or whether someone is attracted to you, like says something about whether you are attractive. And now I'm kind of like, I don't need anybody to tell me I'm attractive. Like I don't need a man to tell me I'm attractive. Like it's cool, it's cute, like it's cool, but like, I don't know, like, you know, I'm good. But when I feel like I have to compete, like even at like 28, 27 years old, like if I feel like I have to compete for somebody who's like hyper attractive or whatever, I kind of revert back to that place where I'm like, yeah, like they're never gonna pick me. Like I don't have all the things. And even if I did, like this is not a competition. Like if it were a competition, like for someone's attention, like I would lose every time, like just like things like that. Because I went through like such a long period of time where like, I don't wanna say no one was checking for me, because maybe somebody was, but like I didn't really think anyone was checking for me, and I used that as an indication of whether or not I was beautiful. That was my primary, like, that was how I gauged whether I was beautiful, like whether people liked me. And now like, I don't need anyone to like me to know or feel like I'm beautiful. But sometimes like when I see that level of competition emerge for like really, really attractive men, or men that are conventionally attractive, or men that just like a lot of other women would agree are attractive, on however you want to define that, part of me is like triggered and goes back to that place where I'm just like, yeah, nah. And that's not the same, like that's not to say that I ever think like a man is like out of my league, but that, because I actually never don't, like I never think that, I've never been like, oh, I don't deserve to be with that man, like he's too good for me. Like, and that's the thing a lot of men say that's just like weird to me. Well, you know what, it's not weird to me because I genuinely believe it's true, but that is a thing that like, that's just where I was. And I've had some experiences specifically feeling this way lately that makes me feel like I need to take a step back. And I don't know if it's like from the type of men that I like or am interested in. Like, do I need to recalibrate? And if so, how? Because I like what I like. Like, I like what I like. And I want what I want. You know. Like I want what I want. I don't want to have to, some girls are out here talking about like, oh, medium ugly, like you gotta do that. I'm like, I don't want medium, like I can't fake attraction to medium ugly. I don't want to have to do it, like please. But sometimes I be feeling like I'm have to fight for like some of these, good looking men, but also looks aren't everything. But the reason I keep bringing up looks is because it's very difficult for me to be attracted to someone. And looks is inclusive of height, because I'm a tall girly and the man's got to be 6 feet at least. And there are not that many 6 feet men out here, and there are not that many 6 feet black men out here. And like, okay, that could bring up another topic of, are you only dating, or are you dating exclusively black? About that. At this very moment in time, I would say I am dating exclusively black men. For multiple reasons. The biggest thing, and this is what I say all the time, is like the places that I occupy are predominantly black. So the parties that I go to, the bars that I frequent, the functions that I go to, the church that I go to, like all of those spaces are predominantly black. I am not going to seek out new spaces that I would not normally frequent for the sake of finding someone, right? Like I'm not going to change my patterns, my habits, I don't want to say patterns or habits. I'm not going to change my social life for the sake of quote unquote finding, or like putting, like for the sake of just dating. Hold on one sec, we gotta do a lash. Actually, these are the first time I'm wearing these lashes. I'm a Lily Lashes girl through and through, but these are some mink lashes that are kind of cute. Very kind of cute. Give me a reason. Ooh, I actually really like them. I had a little mishap with the glue, because these lash tweezers are a little bit harder to deal with, but I think we're good. So as I was saying, like I'm not about to go out of my way to put myself in new spaces for the sake of meeting a man. Like, so if a white man, here's what I'll say. If a white man, or if a man of another race that I am attracted to, and I don't mean like a race I'm attracted to, I mean the man. I'm attracted to a man who happens to be not black. If he ends up occupying some of the spaces that I occupy, sure, like I'll be open, because it also usually or most likely means something, right? It might mean something about his taste in music. It might mean something about his friends. It might mean something about like his mind. It might mean something. And I would much rather do that than take myself out of the spaces that I want to be in for the sake, and like find somebody who would never be in the types of places that I would be in. Because then it's like, all right, well then what's going on here? where are we going? Like, what do we have in common? I'd rather meet at a place where we can find common ground than, wow, I just draw myself with eyeliner, than to change my setting for the sake of like finding someone. And again, I don't think I should be finding, I think I should be found, but that's just me. I'm running a little bit late, but just like that, we are ready to go. We're ready to turn up. We're ready to party. We're ready to party. So hopefully we pick up this conversation on another time, because there's plenty more to say. But if anything resonated with you, if there's anything you want me to talk about more of my experience, like feel free to leave a comment, let me know. I'm glad we could get ready together. My dress is a little scandalous. It's from the Fancy Club, and you'll probably see it on my Instagram, so definitely go check that out. Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you know when the next video comes out, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.